Welcome to the first episode of The Story Pilgrim. My name is Darren Hill. I'm an actor, writer, lover of life, questioner, and founder of The Story Pilgrim. This podcast has come about because I love to listen to people. I'm trying to find the answer to some of life's big questions by listening to the real stories of people I'm lucky enough to meet. In 2017, I walked the Camino de Santiago, the oldest established pilgrimage in Christendom. I did it as a physical challenge, but it soon turned into a spiritual and emotional journey. I walked all 500 miles in 35 days, and I performed the one-man play underneath the lintel 26 times. When I got to Santiago, I was exhausted, but I was also elated, emotional, thinking about all the people I had met on the way. My love for pilgrimages, the act of walking, of getting closer to oneself was realized, and I'm hooked. We are all on a journey, the pilgrimage of life. Each and every one of us has one thing in common, the destination, death. Now, that's scary, isn't it? Morbid, maybe? Is that why it's in our nature to create a God? To want more than this life? Why am I here? Why are you there? What's life all about? So many questions. It is in our nature to tell stories. When you walk a pilgrimage, you get a chance to hear some of those stories on an equal footing. No matter who you are, a pilgrimage is a leveler. You become a pilgrim with just one task, to reach your destination, wherever that may be. I will be walking pilgrimages, meeting people from all walks of life. Some of those encounters will happen on a hilltop, some will be in a pub, in a taxi, on a bus. It doesn't matter where, it matters that it happens. Saint Cuthbert's Way. Cuthbert lived in the 7th century and was a monk, a bishop, a hermit, and some report him to have been a soldier. He became a monk after seeing a vision on the evening that St. Aidan, the founder of the priory at Lindisfarne, died. Cuthbert went on to become bishop of that priory. There are many stories about his love for the natural world, healing powers, and generosity of care. In 667, he became a hermit, living in what is now known as Saint Cuthbert's Cave, where he contemplated life. Even in death, his journey continued, his incorrupt body being moved by the monks to escape the invading Danes, from his grave on St. Cuthbert's Island to his cave, and then his final resting place, Durham Cathedral. Cuthbert's story has lasted centuries. The drama in the landscape along St. Cuthbert's Way is rich. We don't know if St. Cuthbert walked along this route as it was established in 1996. Welcome to the first part of St. Cuthbert's Way, from Melrose in Scotland to the Holy Island, Lindisfarne.
So here we are. I am going to go and do the pilgrimage, and as I step outside it's pouring down with rain, which is to be expected. That's what's going to happen for the foreseeable week. Technically, my pilgrimage is starting right now as I leave my home. I always hope that any journey I take will be an uneventful one. This one had its moments.
We are now arriving into York. To apologise, we are arriving 40 minutes behind schedule. That is 40.
From an earlier train hitting a cow, causing long delays throughout the day, to the delightful elderly couple sat across from me. It seemed as though the gentleman ate crisps the entire journey. So I literally got off the train at Berwick-upon-Tweed and walked straight out and jumped straight onto the bus to take me across to Melrose, but I have to change at Kelso. The bus ride from Berwick to Kelso and then on to Melrose was beautiful.
I could see some of St Cuthbert's Way in the distance, as if it was calling to me.
And so we're here, finally. We make it, I make it into Melrose, and the bus has dropped me right outside Bert's Hotel. It's right in the centre here. It's just a lovely little town square, village, say it's town square. So let's go and get checked in and see if anything is happening at Bert's Hotel. Here we go.
Once I was settled into my room at Bert's, I decided to take a little stroll around Melrose. They have an abbey, you know.
But it's not the abbey that Saint Cuthbert was at. This abbey dates from about 1100, and obviously Saint Cuthbert was around in the 7th century. But it's beautiful. I can't get in because I'm late because of the cow being hit by the train. But it's wonderful.
Day 1, walking from Melrose to Jedburgh, approximately 13 miles. As you stand in the centre of Melrose, there's no indication, no signs which way the walk is. Luckily, the evening before I had managed to do a little recce and found the path down the side of someone's house, right by their rubbish bins. You actually walk through their back garden, and then...
I have found my first St Cuthbert's Way marker. It's just a white plaque with St Cuthbert's Way written on it. Has an arrow, and in the centre of the arrow is St Cuthbert's cross. So we're just walking up these wooden steps in this beautiful forest surrounded by bluebells.
You immediately climb up the Eildon Hills out of Melrose. 3 volcanic-looking hills that have remnants of Iron Age settlements on top of them.
So this is quite a steep climb, and I'm not even halfway up it yet.
One thing that I found as I walked St Cuthbert's was that this particular way has a lot of benches.
So there's a very strategically placed bench here, halfway up, probably about 3/4 of the way up now. There's a lovely bench, and there's a little stone here which has been painted, and on it says Samaritans 116 123, you're not alone. And I do struggle with that sometimes. I know what they mean. But at the moment, as I'm stood on the side of this hill, overlooking this beautiful valley, I am alone in a way, because there's nobody else here. But I bring with me my past. I bring with me the past of my family. And yeah, you physically can be alone, but I think that's absolutely right. You are not alone. You can see why Cuthbert enjoyed being out in this. There's so many stories of him wanting to be out in nature, and he didn't want to take the positions as bishop and be in charge of the priory. He didn't want that, but he did. He took it.
Not even an hour into the walk and I'm already reflecting, thinking, coming to myself. This is an area of Scotland that I have never visited, and it is stunning. I've been lucky to have travelled the world, and I'm always amazed at how much more there is to see, and it's all breathtaking.
So I have come over the Eildon Hills, and there's no markers. There's a marker which says for Melrose Paths, and it points in both directions, and there's no marker for St Cuthbert's Way. So I'm just going to go the way I think I should go, which could be completely wrong.
I was right in my thought that I had gone the wrong way. It wasn't a huge diversion, but I was soon back on the correct route. It was getting close to lunchtime, and I needed a break.
I have just come out of Newton, and I am joining the River Tweed for the first time. It's flowing beneath me, going out east to Berwick, and there's swallows flying around, swifts and swallows, and I think Dryburgh Abbey is around here, so I'm going to go and see if I can find Dryburgh Abbey. Here I am in the grounds of Dryburgh Abbey with my roast beef and Mexican cheese, ciabatta, barbecue beef, hula hoops, and Dr. Emma Wells' book entitled Pilgrim Routes of the British Isles, and she talks about Dryburgh Abbey. She just say it's a must-see diversion, and I would agree with that. I just walked into the chapter room, and that was stunning, just really poignant. She says the current abbey is built on the site of an original chapel burned to the ground by Edward II of England in 1322, just after lunch. Well, that was rude. So it's been empty for quite a while now. Not like my mouth, which is full at the moment. So there you go. We are at Dryburgh Abbey. It's absolutely lovely. I'm so glad I took a detour, and I'm having my lunch. And we'll get back onto Saint Cuthbert's Way.
I don't normally take diversions like that. I'm the type of person who likes to get a job done. I have a place to go, I go there. I don't dilly-dally. I'm so glad I did stop at Dryburgh Abbey. I had the whole place to myself. It was so tranquil. It's special, it's history, it's there. While I was there, I received a call from an old school friend, Julian, who lives in Newcastle. We arranged to meet for breakfast the next morning. I got myself back on the route and walked along the River Tweed for a few miles. The river ebbing and flowing, it was as if the river was talking to me, teaching me about the pace of life, showing me that it's okay to have mad, crazy moments, because eventually the stillness will come. Just go with the flow.
I am at Maxton Kirk, which is dedicated to Saint Cuthbert. It's been reputed that this has been a site of worship in continuous use for almost 1,000 years. It's quite a plain church. This one that's currently standing is of the Church of Scotland, surrounded by the graveyard, which is immaculately kept. Went the wrong way again. After Maxton, there are two white arrows pointing you in a direction, so I just followed them, and a guy was walking along with his dogs, and we got talking, and he's just like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm on St Cuthbert's Way. He's like, no you're not, it's back there. Okay, so he put me right, so I'm back now. Well, for the moment I'm back on it, but it's really, really poorly signposted, and there's so many ways. He's like, yeah, no, that's for St Boswell's Way.
My accommodation for that evening was in Jedburgh. Jedburgh is not on St Cuthbert's Way, it's about 2 miles south. I was unsure where to get off the route. It seemed as though most people leave the route at Hairstains, but for some reason I felt I needed to keep going. I chose a point where St Cuthbert's crossed a B road. My feet were starting to ache by this time. I'd been training, but I haven't done a serious walk for a while.
I'm walking alongside the A68 now. There are signs, more so here. Just walked up basically a mudslide. Because May has been so wet, the majority of the trail that I'm walking on is really just mud. It's just squidgy. So it looks like now I pretty much stay along the A68 until we get to Hairstains, and then I turn down to Jedburgh. So my phone is dying very quickly, but no rush, everything is well, the sun has come out.
Deer Street, a Roman road, some 156 miles long, from York up to Scotland, ending at the Antonine Wall, makes up part of St Cuthbert's. I was walking along it.
And I've come to a point called Lilliot's Cross, and this apparently had a stone here in the 14th century when the English and the Scottish would meet to try and sort out their differences. Obviously it wasn't very successful. They've been trying that long, still trying. It's 5 to 4, so I reckon if I get to the Jedburgh by 6 o'clock, I'd be lucky. Do I think that? I don't know. Might be later.
I passed Hairstains and it was getting very quiet. I felt like this was not the right way and I had made the wrong choice. I was still on the route. I needed to get to Jedburgh, but my GPS on my ever-fading phone was telling me I was going further away. But I'm stubborn and I felt that the B road was the right place to go, so I ploughed on.
Still going. Back down by a river. I'm not quite sure which river this is. And I think the place that I've chosen to get off Saint Cuthbert's Way is much further along than what other people are doing with regards to getting to Jedburgh. It's a lot longer than what I thought it was.
I got to the B road, and as I was climbing over the crash barrier to get onto the road, a white van was approaching me, beeping its horn, constantly beeping. I thought, what? I'm not in your way. There's no other vehicles on the road. Why are you beeping at me? I looked up right as the van was level with me and looked the driver square in the eyes. I knew those eyes. It was my brother, Gareth.
So I have to record this because this is hilarious. I was like, hello, how are you? Good to see you. That was hilarious because I'm like, this was the point where I stopped and I was like, I have no idea how I'm going to get to my bed and breakfast from here. And you drive straight past.
Got a lift.
My brother is a self-employed courier. He knew I was doing this walk, but had no idea where I was. He had taken a job that morning from Scarborough to Liverpool, and then another job from Liverpool to Berwick. And then he intended to call me to find out where I was after he'd dropped off his shipment. The chances of us being in the same place at exactly the same time was slim, but it happened. I jumped into his van.
We can't remember the name of the rabbit's name.
Oh yeah.
But we can both remember Flash's name, the
Flash.
guinea pig. But I have no idea that there was... I thought there was just one guinea pig.
I'm sure we had 2 of each.
I can't even remember
Dash.
having 2.
Dash.
Is it Flash and Dash?
Could have been. Or am I just making that up?
I think you might have just made that up. I don't know. Well, that's another thing.
Dash
is
is
like,
there will know. But one of them 2 will know.
do you reckon? I don't even remember having 2 rabbits. I thought we only had one. I thought we only had one of each.
I'm sure we had 2. Or maybe we... Maybe it wasn't at the same time. Maybe we had one.
We did definitely only have one rabbit and one guinea pig, and that's by the by. I finally made it to my bed and breakfast that evening around 7 p.m. with the help of my brother. It was a long day, not many stories collected, but a wonderful one. An amazing chance meeting with my brother, my interaction with the environment. I was a happy bunny, whose name is definitely not Dash. Day 2, from Jedburgh to Yet home, approximately 14 miles. Julian joined me for breakfast and dropped me back at the point I had met my brother the evening before. As we were about to part, another friend, Andrew, called.
I don't know what you're doing, and I don't know if I approve of it, but I urge you both to continue.
Thanks.
Thank you.
There is very little going on around here that isn't green and grassy.
Okay, well, there's not many gondolas.
Day 2, approximately 10 a.m.
So I am a couple of miles into today's walk, and I'm in a field full of cows, and they're all just stood right in the way of where we're supposed to go. So I'll just walk through, and lots of beautiful little calves. Hello. Exactly. They're all just sort of like, what are you doing in my field? Excuse me. Coming through. Now this fence is electric. Oh, there's a cute little calf. He's all like brown and white. And that must be his mum. Oh, one of them wants to come with me. Sorry, you're going to have to stay. Yeah, see you later. Thanks.
So far, my encounters with other people, both fellow pilgrims and people living in the area, was limited. I came across 2 gentlemen clearing the way, who explained to me that they hadn't put all the signs back on the way. Put them back? Why were they taken down in the first place? That's how I got lost yesterday. At Burt's and then in Jedburgh, I was sure there was a lady who had been there at both locations, but I never spoke to her. This morning, after my encounter with the cows, this same lady caught me up. Her name is Anne, a retired head teacher from Peckham. We walked together that morning.
And there, the Red Cross provide a house in Hackney near Dawson Junction, where during I think 4 days a week the Red Cross provide food and just a place for people to go and showers and washing machines and all those sorts of things.
Okay.
And then 1 day a week the Refugee Council take that over. And so I was in that on that day. So we cook and you just tour.
Well, are they from predominantly one area?
Well, not really. I mean, the adults, quite a lot of people from Eritrea, Sudan, all over the world actually, not just there.
Sure.
But the children, they came a lot from Afghanistan. You had a lot from Afghanistan,
Okay.
and a lot from Sudan and Eritrea actually.
Have the children come on their own, or are they with families and stuff?
Mostly they're on their own. Well, the ones we met, but
So do you still do that?
no, they stopped it during lockdown.
Because of lockdown.
Because,
Well, what do they do? What do these...
they were in hotels, mostly the ones, the clients that this group worked with were in hotels.
Okay.
As you can hear in the background, the 2 gentlemen who I'd met before had leapfrogged us, and they were clearing the path ahead.
People being so close together and all that social distance.
I could hardly hear Anne.
Yeah.
It was difficult. So the workers who worked for the Refugee Council, they were still doing it on the telephone and trying to secure
Okay.
asylum claims and all those sorts of things.
Okay, so they were getting some sort of support.
Yeah.
Shouting. Chris! Scare the life out of you. Thanks, Chris. At least we know we're going in the right direction.
Anne told me about her daughter.
She's a singer. She runs a performing arts school.
Fantastic.
On like a Saturday and a Sunday one.
Yeah.
And because that gave her, she's dyslexic, funny enough, she's dyslexic.
Okay, the best of us are.
She went to this thing called the Centre for Young Musicians, which is at the Elephant and Castle, which is the most incredible place. And it's really kind of very, very high standard.
Mm-hmm.
And they just take, kids like South London, and you have to audition. But it's just it's just made her life really. I think I wasn't a good teacher, but I was a better head than a teacher. But
Sure.
Anyway, I used to have to go and, observe teachers.
Uh-huh.
And so what you see now, it is incredible what teachers can get out of children and how much they can enjoy the lessons.
That's really good to hear.
It was
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
And
What's changed then?
better teacher training.
Okay.
Technology does help,
Mhm.
So if you're in English, you can use a whole number of things
Mhm.
to illustrate or to kind of push children thinking on. I kind of thought, blimey, you can do that. I think the kind of people who are coming into teaching, I think actually probably it was London teachers. You know, if you're going to teach in London, you've got to be pretty committed because you're going to be basically paid the same if you're in Richmond. You do get a bit more money in London. So for a present, someone gave me a map reading skills class. Oh, that was awful. It was terrible. I went to City Lit and I did a course on quantum mechanics.
Amazing.
Which I understood about 0.5% about. And we started with kind of like the forces and gravity.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and I kind of got it, that gravity, you know,
Mm-hmm.
quite straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of got it, but I didn't quite get it. Anyway, after the course, we used to go down to the pub. And I said to this woman who was a science graduate from Cambridge, I said, the thing is, I don't even understand gravity. And so she looked at me and she said, sorry, Anne, nobody does. And I thought, oh my God, I've been really kind of torturing myself all this time because I couldn't even get gravity.
Yeah.
And then she's, no, nobody does.
Nobody does.
Nobody really understands it.
Yeah.
And they say, there's I think it's a guy called Carlo Ravelli says, you know, if someone tells you they understand quantum physics, they definitely don't, you know, because I don't, you know, these professors, nobody really understands. But it is quite.
Before I started recording Anne, she told me that she didn't have any stories to tell. That amazes me that she feels that way. I had a lovely morning with her, walking, talking, inspiring each other. Anne was only walking as far as Moorbattle that day, an area famous for the legend of the Linton worm, a mythical beast. Google it. We reached Moorbattle at around 12:15 p.m. Anne and I had lunch at the local village shop. We thanked each other, swapped emails, and I pushed on to get home. Next challenge was Wide Open Hill, another steep climb, but stunning. On my way up, a deer ran in front of me. I nearly stepped on a frog, and a partridge angrily chucked at me. On the top of Wide Open Hill, there was another herd of cows. Have you ever watched a cow eat grass?
Melrose obviously on the other side, you know, I've come from there yesterday. Beautiful. And like I said, it was wonderful talking to Anne this morning. But it is, you know, when you put yourself in an environment like this, it's very inspiring. It makes you feel small and insignificant, which then I think helps you to see the bigger picture. Yeah, there's a lot to ponder. And it's good having this time. It was great having that time this morning with Anne, but it's also great having that time, that space to yourself. And that word self, there's a really steep hill coming up. Oh no! I'm going to save my breath. That was the steep bit, and I'm at a point now, there's a sign here, Saint Cuthbert's Way, Wide Open Hill, 1,207 feet, 368 metres. This is the highest point on the way, and also the halfway point between Melrose and Lindisfarne. I've only been going a day and a half, but it's so peaceful, and it's so tranquil. There's like a reservoir or lake down there. 7th century people were wandering around this area, people living, trying to figure it all out. Some looking to a god, some looking to the earth, some looking to the skies, to nature. And when it's laid out in front of you like this, it really does make you think. Sometimes it's hard to articulate what's going inside your head. How do you put something like this into words, in a play, on the screen, on a radio drama, into a podcast? And it started raining again. Oh, I'm all wet. My back hurts and I just want a bath. That's it. I'm really glad I had that full Scottish breakfast this morning. That's done me well. Whoa, it's a big bee! Anyway, halfway. Tan tan ta. This is Darren Hill at Wide Open Hill. I'm a day and a half into a 5-day walk, and I have already done half of the distance. That maths doesn't really work out, but it means that the next 3.5 days will be easy, right? Right? You'd hope so. So far, this walk has been amazing. I have felt a connection to the environment that I haven't felt for a long time, which in turn brings all thoughts back to myself. This isn't a selfish action, it's a strengthening of who I am, of why do I think the way I do, why does the environment act the way it acts? What does that mean? My walk with Anne helped me see life from her perspective, and that helps. It helps me to make sense of my life. I'm grateful for that. Join me for episode 2, where I will reach the final destination, the Holy Island, Lindisfarne. The approach to that island was one of the most magical and mystical experiences I have ever encountered. You don't want to miss it. Until then, stay safe, stay happy, and listen. You've been listening to episode 1 of The Story Pilgrim, Saint Cuthbert's Way. The Story Pilgrim was written and produced by Darren Hill. Original music composed and performed by Anya Backer. For more information about The Story Pilgrim, Darren and Anya, go to thestorypilgrim.com or follow us on Instagram and Twitter @TheStoryPilgrim.